But let's move on to the day after WrestleMania Night 2, which I guess is the only way we can call it. Monday Night Raw, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the day after WrestleMania.
Boy, howdy. And because obviously we traveled through time a little while ago. We don't know yet what the ratings are as we speak now for AEW that we've already announced in this program, if that's not confusing enough. But we do know what some numbers are from the weekend. So this was the night after WrestleMania, April the 8th in Philly again. Friday night, SmackDown. Saturday night, WrestleMania. Sunday night, WrestleMania. Monday night, Raw. They had NXT in the middle there, didn't they? Somewhere. They sold, and this is their number. Let's say they exaggerated a bit, but they say they sold 200,000 tickets, 205, I believe exactly, last weekend in Philadelphia for these events. Did they exaggerate that by 30,000 people? Well, then they still sold goddamn 175,000 tickets in one weekend in the same city. What the? And they had 20,248 announced for this night, the 17th television sellout. And they had the small setup with the tiny screen because they had so many fucking people trying to get in. And the first thing they do is bring out Triple H. And it's the Triple H era. And the fans, thank you, Hunter. And he was like, hey, it's funny. I came out here to thank you. And the company, the evil empire, has become the benevolent fucking ruling class here. Now they're going to bestow upon us all of the great wrestling, and it's going to be fine and dead. They don't hate the WWE anymore because it's not a fucking asshole billionaire running it. It's a goddamn sympathetic former wrestler with a goddamn heart problem. And he announced that it was the biggest WrestleMania of all time by every metric and welcomed us to Raw. Welcome to a new era. And here's your new champion, Cody Rhodes. And boom, the entrance. And again, he's over. And he gets, you deserve it. And this was just going on. The people were just elated to be there. And even if you're sitting home in goddamn, Lincoln, Nebraska, and you didn't see WrestleMania and you didn't go to Philadelphia, you're still looking at this giant fucking NBA arena slam full of fucking people screaming, thank you, and we love you, and you deserve this, and we're batshit over what's going on. It's infectious. You say, well, shit, I shouldn't have been missing this. What the fuck? And Triple H congratulated Cody and then introduced a video that the studio had made for him. Would you share this with Cody? Yeah, well, I'll share it with everybody. I believe that was the plan. They didn't have these goddamn highly priced, highly paid and respected editors working on a home movie. And they made fun of having too many fans there in the building to get a Titantron in, so watch the monitors. And they did a video. Rise Up was the song. I forgot to write down who the artist was, never heard of. But the point, this was fucking art with this video, the editing of Cody at different points in his career and him and his family and him and his kid. And then they have a box where Cody is in near tears watching the video that they've made of him on the screen. And I think you said earlier before we went on the air, Brian, it juxtaposed the fans in West Virginia watching a video on a screen of a guy from another fucking company and they're chanting for him. And meanwhile, these people, there's 20,000 of them in Philadelphia, and they're sitting there watching Cody watch a fucking video of him
on the monitor from AV class.
Yeah. It's but anyway, so that was That was a great deal. And then Cody and Triple H had the long hug with the whispering and the tears, and Cody kissed the belt in the ring and had Samantha announce him as the new champion again.
Well, did you see that? Because that went viral. Her reaction, you could hear it on the when you watch WrestleMania. She broke up. She got emotional.
He's the new champion.
I really like her. I know some people think she goes over the top, but I think it works. She's really good.
She's trying. I must admit that I couldn't find much wrong with it. She's trying. She's doing her best.
Well, apparently one of her things is she doesn't. I think someone said that she says she doesn't want to know what any of the finishes are, so she could react naturally.
Okay, well, that every once in a while they might better clue her in, or that may lead to issue at some point with some of these screwy finishes. But anyway, and Cody, he recapped his story from the last 2 years and brought the people in. Hey, I said the air is thin in Philly because we're standing on top of the mountain. And when he started talking about Roman, they booed. But when Cody said, I acknowledge him for what he's done, the fans chanted, thank you, Roman. And then Cody showed video of his daughter, as that's why he got into this, to go to work in the main event. And, it was a good babyface promo. And there's a Dusty-ish in that, and you feel one way in terms of, it was just so natural with Dusty, whereas you think that Cody's being Dusty in some of these things, but at the same time, he's ahead of everybody else. And then he goes home with it. I've always stood in the line, and now the line is for me. I went from undesirable to undeniable to undisputed. And then the Rock music plays. And you think, so we've had Triple H, we've had Cody, now we're getting the Rock. The first hour, by the way, commercial free, lady. They ain't taking any breaks in any of this. And here comes the Rock. And a big reaction, and the Rocky chants, and a long face-off. And then when Rock does try to speak, they boo, and then he milks more. And I mean, again, it's star power. These people are going batshit, but nothing's going on. And then finally, when the fans whatted him, he shut them down perfectly and then told him to shut the fuck up and got bleeped. And now and then the fans got bleeped there in a minute for chanting shut the fuck up. But now we've got Cody with the WWE belt, and we've got The Rock with the Mrs. Ali belt. And Rock does a heel promo. I say, I'm going to give Cody his flowers. And he puts him over in the backhanded heel way. But again, they were just taking their time, and they had these people in the palm of their hand. And then Rock says, that's a nice title belt you got there. I've had all of them, but I've never held that. Can I hold your belt just for a minute? And Cody says, well, if I can hold yours, ooh. So they own the room. They trade belts. And then, did you like it when The Rock said, well, a lot of people know The Rock has to go away for a little while now. That just tickled me. I don't know why that phrasing. It was like,
they call me with a goat.
Well, yeah, it was like, little Billy, I know that Daddy needs to go away for a little while now, but I'll always love you. And as soon as he said that, the crowd jumps in singing, sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye. But when The Rock comes back, Cody, he's coming for you. Cody says, I look forward to it. And The Rock says, well, Cody, you beat Roman Reigns, but I beat you. And your story with Roman is over, but our story has just begun. And Cody says, well, you're the boss. You're on the board. You're my boss. But I'm your champion. And then Rock said, you are my champion. And then now, and here's what we're going to be wondering. And this better not turn out like that goddamn envelope of pictures that Baby Doll had to show to Dusty. Nothing better happen that The Rock don't come back and fight Cody, because The Rock reaches in his pocket and shakes hands with Cody and palms something off to him. And he says, you don't even need to open your hand to know what this is. Don't you ever break my heart again if you smell what the final boss is cooking. That was a 45-minute segment with no breaks, and we're going to talk about the people that watched it in a minute. But what the fuck's going on with this goddamn foreign object that was passed back and forth?
And when did Cody break The Rock's heart the first time?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How does, because
by
they
leaving
don't just,
WWE?
well, I don't know if I can get away with that or not, but they don't say shit anymore that just blatantly doesn't make sense with their top main event guys. So what is this all about?
I don't know.
Well, goddamn, what am I paying you for?
How am I supposed to know? You don't even know what it is. What was the MacGuffin?
Well,
what did he give him?
That's what I'm asking you. You got to go find these things out. I can't stay in the dark forever.
Maybe it was a flash drive filled with porn.
It depends on who the porn was of as to whether his heart was broken. But anyway, this.
Do you think this is all to build to WrestleMania next year? Knowing how slow everything develops with The Rock, especially if he's filming a movie or if he has anything to promote?
If he's shooting a movie that he's going to be gone for months, it would have to be either SummerSlam, WrestleMania, or a Saudi Arabia show. A Saudi Arabia show, and we're too close to SummerSlam at this point to get something like that off the ground, aren't we? So, it's going to be something big, but goddamn, I hope that everybody takes care of themselves, because I've got to find out what the fuck that he handed him. And that's what we want people to be doing. What's going on? Not in a confused way, but in a I want to know kind of way. But can we talk about the ratings now?
Sure.
Do you have that
it's
information
your show.
In front of you? No, it's not. It's your show. That's why I asked you.
That's right. So we're not going to talk ratings. How do you like that?
Well, no, but I still want you to do as I say and bask in the rarefied air of me.
Okay, then I guess we can talk
like
ratings.
Jericho, but we don't even usually do the ratings of Raw. It's usually 1.7 million, 1.8 million. They got up to a couple million and a lot of the WrestleMania run up, and there's been a 2.5 million or whatever the fuck that I remember was a Rock interview or the Punk thing. But, you know, SmackDown has been the highest rated show, and SmackDown's been averaging a couple million people. But all of a sudden, from the numbers that I saw, just this segment, the first 45 minutes of the program, holy jumping Jehoshaphat. Do you have those numbers in front of you?
I do have these numbers. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Monday Night Raw, April 8th on USA Network, 8 to 11 p.m. 2,362,000 viewers on average. It is the highest number since February 17th, 2020, and the highest in the key demo since September 30th, 2019.
But that doesn't even tell all the story, because it's a 2,362,000 average. What were the first three quarters, which were the 45 minutes that we just covered with Triple H, Rock, and Cody?
And the entire show was above the trend line in the entirety of the show. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15, 2.68 million. Quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30, 2.95 million. And finally, 8:30 to 8:45, 3.19 million.
So they went from the start of the show at 2,680,000 people. By the time that promo segment was over with, 45 minutes later, they had picked up, let's say 320, picked up over 500,000 people and landed 3 million, almost 200,000 people. To watch people stand in the ring and talk to each other.
And again, I say that it didn't go down as usual. It ended. The last three segments are 1.98, 1.84, and 1.87. So even more people.
That's usually what the first hour was doing here a while back.
Yeah, so people stuck with the show more than usual.
Well, speaking of sticking with this show, we're going to gloss over a few things, and then we're going to talk about another little meaty project they got going on. But what was your, without going into detail on what they did, they had an interview in the ring with the Judgment Day, Finn and Dominic and JD Funko, and they introduced Rhea so she could come out with her belt, and then they introduced Priest so he could come out with his new belt. Whereupon the fans chanted, "You deserve it," which I think they're starting to devalue that now. Does everybody deserve everything they get, even the heels?
Not everything is awesome.
It's a good rule of thumb that you can follow. But Priest came out, he looked great in a red suit of some description, kind of looked like Prince meets Liberace, and then they're holding their belts up, all rise for the Judgment Day, and Truth steps in with his belt. And they're back to doing comedy that he thinks he's a member of the group. And then here comes Miz. And they argue if Truth is in the Judgment Day. I'm thinking this is the first promo that their new World Heavyweight Champion has done, and they're doing it for comedy. And I kind of zoned out, and they got in a fight, and all of them dumped Miz and Truth out to the floor. But by the time they came back, they were having a 3-on-2 match, and Miz said, "We've got a partner, you just can't see him." But what the promo, why are they treating Priest like he still needs to be interacting with all these foolish children?
I don't know. This is their opportunity to do something different with him, and it didn't feel like he was really elevated that much, even though he had that belt this week.
Well, the thing is, the
timing with R-Truth was good, though. I'll give him that. When he popped up.
He does have nice timing. But they gave Priest the belt to further the angle between Punk and McIntyre. It's not necessarily to help Priest, but to further the angle between Punk and McIntyre, which was brilliant. But they could give Priest something at the same time, but just don't have him be stupid with these other people. But anyway, they had the 3-on-2 tag match with the other Judgment Dayers and Miz and Truth, and finally the babyfaces were getting shit kicked out of them, 3 against 2. When John Cena's music played, he came out, took a tag, made a comeback, and they did a triple 5-knuckle shuffle and a triple attitude adjustment and a triple pin 1, 2, 3. So Rhea's the women's champion. Damian Priest is one of the men's champions, and the other 3 are cannon fodder to be beaten, I guess, as necessary.
Yeah, I got nothing to add.
Indy wrestled Roxanne. I got nothing to add.
Roxanne.
Sami Zayn was in the ring. You don't have to put on the match at all. And I know you're going to find this hard to believe, Brian, but according to these fans, Sami deserves it too.
Of course he does.
And I fast forwarded to see if Gunther came out, and he didn't. Instead, it was Kaiser Wilhelm and Leonardo da Vinci. And then Gable ran out, and then they had a tag team match, and the babyfaces won. And Sami had the match won, but he tagged Chad in. And then later on in the back, apparently Chad wants a shot at the title. So now they're going to have it next week in Montreal with him and Sami.
It's a good place to have him turn on Sami.
Well, but yeah, this kind of Gable kind of is a half-assed babyface at this point. I thought, but if they just have it and Sami beats him, that's kind of flat. So he's going to have to stab him in the back in some way. That's a little, I don't know, whatever. Chelsea Green wanted a Mania moment, so she got Jade Cargill, 1 kick, finish, 1 tackle, pancake, 1, 2, 3. That was that. And then we come to the number 1 contender match for the world title in a 4-way quadruple threat match. And Drew comes out first and cuts the promo that he's pissed about WrestleMania. He was champion for 5 minutes and 46 seconds. I have a feeling that might be a new 316 shirt if we're not careful. And he said he respects what Seth did, but the Bondage Undertaker screwed it up and cheapened everything. and he's coming back to get the belt, and the whole cause of this thing was that prick CM Punk, which he didn't get bleeped, and he cut a hell of a promo on Punk and what he did and what he wanted to do to Punk as a result of it. I'm loving Drew McIntyre. He's fucking great. And where did this promo come from? He could talk like that all that time and nobody ever let him?
Vince, that's the problem.
But anyway, so then they had the four-way match with Drew versus Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed versus Ricochet. Boy, howdy, talk about filling TV time. And after all the talk and the entrances and the bell rang, the fight started. Bronson Reed went to clothesline Jey Uso, over the top rope, and Uso ducked it and just jumped over the top rope on his own. Did you see that?
I did.
I don't know what the fuck now. Sloppy. Anyway, Ricochet dove on everybody and they went to the break in under a minute. So I just came back for the finish, which was Ricochet hit a big flip dive off the top rope onto Bronson Reed through the desk and wiped both of them out. Drew DDT'd Jey Uso and went back in the corner, was going to Claymore kick him. And as he stands up, he starts to run, and what the fuck? He looks down. Punk is holding his foot. And Uso comes over and hits the kick, hits a spear, hits a splash, 1, 2, 3, and beats Drew McIntyre again. So now not only has he been beaten again because of CM Punk, he's not the number one contender for the title that CM Punk fucking cost him. So this is great. I hope the fuck Punk can get back soon. I don't want him to lose momentum on this, but it's great he's going to give Drew McIntyre a nervous breakdown. So I like that. They started strong and they finished strong.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of the multi-man matches, but this one worked because of what happened. And Drew is on fire. Drew's become one of my favorite guys in the business. The promos, the attitude. Sometimes the matches don't deliver, but everything else does.
Yeah, and I mean, the match is good enough to get by because of you. Now you've got the personality and the sarcastic wit and the blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it's not like he's just okay especially for a guy that size. He's a tremendous athlete, but you're not going to see, the Undertaker and Michaels level of matches, Flair and Steamboat or whatever, probably, but he's more than carrying his part of the bargain.
Well, that bargain was Monday Night Raw, and that was the end of it. CM Punk in the big angle at the end of the show here, and the big angle on AEW Dynamite, having a heck of a week, like Rick Rude appearing on Raw and Nitro at the same time.